Why is abortion such a big deal in the US? You aren't alone. I'm an American and I don't get it. There's a large segment of America that believes at some point, the fetus is a person. And in most cases, it's probably wrong to kill the person. The big argument between both sides is over whether life begins at conception or not. People that lean to the left believe that the fetus is not its own thing until far along in the pregnancy. So an abortion is simply no different than removing an unwanted mass from your body. Right-leaning people tend to think that life begins at conception. So ending a pregnancy via abortion is the same as child murder to them. For the same reason it would be a big deal in Saudi Arabia, Iran or Brazil: religion. The main issue is that people can't decide what is a living human being and what is a pile of living tissue. Or at least get it put into code, law, written. Unfortunately, or fortunately, when Roe v. Wade was passed, they just tacked on abortion even though it doesn't really have anything to the right to medical privacy. So pro-abortionists had about 50 years to pass pro-abortion laws. Unfortunately, none were passed either because they never believed Roe v. Wade would be struck down. Which it always was going to be because it was an overreach of power by the Supreme Court 50 years ago. Or other reasons. Some political, some not. Although many on Reddit will push that it's the religious groups that are happy with Roe v. Wade being struck down. Anyone who is familiar with the laws know that Roe v. Wade shouldn't have had anything to do with abortion. Even the person who spearheaded abortion rights, Rip Ruth Ginsburg, thought it was a massive overreach of power by the justices. If we want proper abortion laws, similar to most of the other Western countries, then we have to get it pushed into laws. Assholes want to control people and keep them miserable and poor. When do you believe that life starts? That's the problem. That's the big deal. This isn't just someone else doing something with their body. Ignore religion completely, which believes that life starts at conception, which is ridiculous. From a strictly scientific standpoint, sometime within the growth process of the fetus we have to consider it a living person, and as such, that living person has the right to not be murdered. Most states have a reasonable determination of 14 weeks, given that is typically when serious brain activity starts. A lot of people just blaming this on religion. I'm absolutely pro-choice and I've never been to church a day in my life, but I can definitely understand their argument. Even if you don't think you're killing a child at a specific stage when you get an abortion, if you had done nothing, there would have been a living, breathing human being on this planet. That fact is always gnawing at me when I say I'm pro-choice. I find it incredible that people still force themselves to be so clueless as to why this is such a big issue. The anti-abortion side thinks that abortion is murder. Now you can disagree with that on a fundamental level, but to say you can't understand their side are to suggest they all just want to control women's bodies is willful ignorance. Again, not arguing whether they are right, but to say they have no reasoning or their reason is control is just dishonest or uninformed. Because a sizable portion of this country are religious extremists who feel compelled to push their juvenile beliefs onto others. Put simply, the church isn't as separated from the state as it should be. Because everything in the US is a political power play. Everything. Religion ruins everything. Follow science. Republicans lost the culture war in the civil rights movement and have been trying to find another culture battle to win. I don't get it either. I think it's lame that politicians are trying to steal votes over abortion issues. There's better things we could and should be focusing on. Because religious people are dumb, and there are a lot of them in the States. Because there is a large segment of America that believes they are allowed to enact their religious will upon others. Why can't people just let others decide what they want to do with their own bodies? You can't understand the other side because you're still thinking of it from your side. The other side says a woman's body doesn't have 2 heartbeats. 20 toes or fingers are 2 completely unique independent sets of DNA. You don't have to agree with them, but you should try to understand where they are coming from if this issue, if it's important, are interesting to you. It's because it's a wedge issue. So at every opportunity it's brought up to maintain both parties' power. Well, if you saw an action as in actually murder, then I'm sure you'd be railing against it too. I also think the last decade or so people becoming more comfortable with it has left a bad taste in some people's mouths. A lot of people who are pro-life can live with abortions being rare. However, it feels like there are more people that see it as birth control. They've least gotten louder. I'm pro-choice, but even I get uncomfortable with people with that kind of view. I've had multiple women tell me I don't need a condom cause if they get pregnant they'll just abort it. Like it doesn't matter at all. Along with people flaunting their 4 to 5 plus abortions is kinda gross. I know it's not a majority, but it makes it easier to fear-monger.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.